Just trying to do the math here. It says 35 fours and 26 sixes. If I can just use some calculators and an abacus perhaps and 3-4 young math wizards, that's about 1 million runs when just boundaries, roughly rounding it off. You're watching Cricbuzz live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. Seems like a fantasy, seems like a dream. I don't know what's going on anymore. I've got Pommie and Joy with me. Pommie, that's 1 million runs came with boundaries in that game.
That's so if you can kind of put it this way and say for every bowler, half their overs went off, half their over went to the boundary, because that's 10 overs of boundaries. That's what it is, right? That's what it, because what did you say, 35 and
I said
26.
35 and 26. That's right. That's almost 60.
That's 61, right?
It's 10 overs. Joy has some stats for us. Yes, Joy.
Yeah. So 296 runs just scored of boundaries.
Out of 400 and what is it, 40?
430? 430, yeah. 296 runs just scored of boundaries.
422 actually. It should have been 420. That 420 would have been really good if it was 420. There's 422 runs that were scored today. I mean, these are just absolutely absurd figures. But, I mean, just leave aside the shootout, as Joy called it, slugfest, as Pommie called it, madness, as I call it, because I have a limited vocabulary. But if we were to just look at what the Knight Riders have done, right? Pommie, we were looking at a power play where a number 7 has come to bat in the power play. 5 wickets have fallen, right? You think that's it. They're done and dusted. They're 35 for 5. The question at that time, we were joking around saying, will 31 for 5, will Chennai enforce the follow-on? Because they're at 220. And suddenly they're almost, you're looking at the last over going 20 off 6 balls. Yeah, they can do it. This Pat Cummins there. What has just transpired? I feel like I've watched 4 cricket games.
Yeah, I tell you what. So I keep saying the game has shifted, right? And it sure has, because last season we sat and kind of cringed and felt sorry. And I know that it was at a smaller ground at Sharjah. And we felt sorry for Rahul Tewatia as he kind of tried to find his way in that innings where he turned it around. And for the last 4 overs, Punjab went at like 15 and over. And, you know, Rajasthan won. And we thought, whoa, gee, minor miracle. But it's no longer one of those, because in the right conditions with the right players in, teams do that these days. It's crazy to say it, but they do it. 15, 16 and over for 3, 4, 5 overs, they can do it. So, yeah, bowlers under the pump. Those bowlers who are clear in their minds of what they must do and should do in those situations and they can execute, they don't go. But if there's just a little bit of fuzz going on, you know, a bit of a haze because it's being smashed all over the place, and you keep landing them where the guys can hit them, well, then they hit them, and it's quite comfortable in the end for them. That they get so close, I think, is painful if you're Kolkata Knight Riders. It's 31 for 5. You look dead and buried. It's over. You know, and many fans will say, the neutral ones will say, "Oh, what a game! Brilliant! Yeah, fantastic." The Kolkata Knight Riders fans will say, "Why? Why the false hope? It looked like he was on his way. Like, you're getting there, you know. Don't lose by like what if they lost by 18? Don't do that. Lose by 80, you know. Then we know we're never in it, you know. But man, what a game!
Oh, that's insane. Let's have a look at what happened with the Chennai bowlers, because there's a Deepak Chahar there who's taken 4 wickets. He's bowled out in one spell in the beginning, and then he's looking at everybody else saying, "But I had done everything. What are you guys doing? Right? What's going on here?" He bowls out his 4 for 29 and takes 4 wickets. On the other side, Sam Curran, 4 overs, 58. In Gidi, it was good today. He did what you said he would. coming in and banging the ball in, right? He was getting some of it, picked up 3 wickets. Ravindra Jadeja, 4 of 33. And then Shardul, the Shardul in the middle with his wides. I want to say how many wides Shardul bowled today. But him again, 3.1 overs, 48. In the end, Knight Riders just ran out of wickets. I tell you something, they didn't run out of heart today, huh? At least when you're talking about Karthik, Russell and Cummins. Now, here's the thing. We've been saying they want more from their 4, 5, 6, their big 4, 5, 6. Today, they've got it from their, 6, 7, 8, right? They've got it from Karthik. Boy, they've got it from Russell. And geez, have they got it from Pat Cummins, Joy?
No, absolutely. And you called a good call. I said Pat Cummins is, for him to hit for about 4, 5 overs is much more difficult. But he proved us wrong, and he proved you absolutely right. He smashed
I just remembered him from last season where he said he's capable of getting a 20-ball 50. He overshot my expectations as well. This was brilliant from him today.
No, and the way they hit the ball was absolutely fantastic because they also knew that. They knew that if you stay inside, one of the things that, remember, Russell has bowled. They know it's a true pitch. Cummins has bowled. It's a true pitch. So if you time it, it'll go. And remember one thing. Chennai does not have too many stoppers. Ngidi is their smartest bowler. Okay. And if you look, all the analyses are funny because the most valuable wicket is taken by a guy who's gone for 58 runs. Sam Curran did everything wrong. But that one wicket might have just saved the match for them. So the captain might turn around and said, okay, you went for 58, but the wicket you got possibly saved us the match.
It's just that wicket as well, Pommie. I mean, you're saying Sam Curran did everything wrong, but that ball, it was Russell who did everything wrong. You're in that kind of form. And is that one of the most embarrassing dismissals in cricket? When you let a ball go down the leg side and it clips your leg stump.
Look, there are only 2 kinds of leaves, good ones and bad ones, right? That's it, right? And in that form, he probably thinks he can hit absolutely everything. In that form, he's also probably judging everything to the T. And then he just makes that error. And he's made the judgment, right? But it's a left armer and the ball keeps coming. Normally, Curran kind of does that a little bit. Even if there's not a lot of shape, it just goes a little bit and kind of won't go straight on that way. It does this time. And man, you've got to feel that you're a bit unlucky if it just clips the bails, takes the bail as it goes through. That's a bit hectic. That said, it just shows us, doesn't it, that the important thing is not so much how many runs you're going to go for. It's can you get people out? I keep saying it all the time. You look at bowling sides. They've got to try and get people out, because if you don't try and get people out, I mean, contrast it to the way that Chennai went.
Yeah.
How many wickets taken were they? It wasn't a case of wickets, no hard lengths to take wickets. It was kind of defensive. Let's try and bounce them here so that they can't hit it there. Let's, back of a length and all of it. And they whack it to all parts, right? And Chaha runs up, tries to swing it, tries to get you out. That's what he does up at the front. Sam Curran, attacking. That's his mindset. That's what he thinks. Lungi Ngidi, same story. That's what he looks to do. He's not looking to contain you. He's trying to get you out. And so if you have sides that look to try and bowl the opposition, there's obviously a balancing thing in that you've got to go in the right areas, choose correctly. Who are you bowling what to? Who do you go slower balls to? Does the surface allow? Does he like to free his arms? Does he need to be tucked up? Whatever, all of that. But ultimately, the teams that can get wickets, the teams that can regularly strike, are the ones that, and here's a team I'll tell you, Sunrisers Hyderabad, they're one such team. They get wickets, and it's difficult. You find them chasing 140, 150, 160 many times, and getting those scores because they're scores that are subpar. Their team can get wickets. You've got to go after your opposition. If you don't, then you give them too much of a chance, especially if you come up on a pretty good wicket.
It's the attacking mindset, Joy. I mean, we criticize, a lot of other captains for it, saying, just this morning we said that, or this evening we said that about Punjab, saying you only have 120 to defend. You've got to go with your best bowlers up front and attack. You have no room to be defensive. There's this captain, there's MS Dhoni, who, even though he's got 220 on the board to defend, he's always attacking. You know, that's the way he's going to play. He's just always going to attack.
But I think this is the modern game. Containment is difficult. And I was part of that, that time, KKR at the time when they used to play that game. 150, 160 sticky pitch in Calcutta. Come on, Sunil Narayan, Rajat Bhatia, Iqbal Abdullah come and try and hit us. Very difficult to do. Okay. And they will give you wickets, not because the bowling is wicket-taking deliveries. They'll just frustrate and, hole out. But that doesn't happen that much in today's game. I think the strikers are much better. The way they hit, they're much more trained to hit sixes and big ones. So wicket-taking is a far more important skill in 2020 and 2021 than it was in 2013 and 2014.
Yeah.
And I think every captain who understands that and appreciates that, I need wickets. There's no point in telling this guy that, contain. Because he can contain for 3 balls go for 6. It's all over. It doesn't matter. And I think that's the modern game. That is the modern game. And I think it's good for the game because what that does is it encourages bowlers to bowl wicket-taking deliveries.
Yeah, I mean, I want to ask Pommie this. Pommie, we talk about it so much. For a bowler, is that even a thing that you can consciously do? I'm just going to contain?
So I mean, I'll illustrate by saying if you're at Mumbai and you think of what looks pretty and what might be difficult to hit, it's a length that's back of a length that goes through quite nicely to the keeper, right? And it carries ever so nicely, but none ever really gets anyone out. Why doesn't it? Because it's bouncing over the stumps. Because what you're after really is that he's not going to try and drive it. But these days, because of the different shots that players play, you bowl one there and they figure that's where you're going and that's where you're generally going to be. They'll figure out a way, whether it's backing away and knowing that, well, my stumps, you're giving me a free hit because my stumps are never going to be hit, right? So I can just swing as hard as I want. And you've got one of those, if it's towards the end, you've got one of those two up, whether it's fine leg or third man. So actually, I can do anything I want. I can go that way and I can go this way. And I know my stumps are not going to be peppered. So I'm fine. But if you bowl what is an attacking length, whether it's early on or later on, right, you're bowling closer to the stump so that if the batsman actually misses, he has to think about the fact that his wicket can be broken. If he doesn't have to think about that because of the length you're bowling, then you're being kind of defensive and you're hoping that he's not going to hit you, right? But if he's going to hit you when you're fuller, it's probably more possible for him to hit you, but it's also possible that he can miss hit, he can miss, he can, the ball can swing, it can jag, all those things. It's fraught with danger, but you got to take the risk in order to get that reward. If you don't take it, then it's all well and good looking all nice, and you go 9 and over, 8 and over in a game that's going at 10s, and someone else goes at 15 and 20, and you still lose the game. But if you go at 10 and over and get 2 for, different game, because they don't have those 2 wickets. They don't catch up with those 2 wickets gone. They've got to now think, do we have enough? Do we not? Do I still go? Do I not?
That's the trick. I got to tell you, though. Sorry, Joy, you wanted to add? Yes?
Yeah, just adding to that. I mean, for me, the perfect attacking bowler, for example, is Rashid Khan. Yeah. He's always attacking your stumps. He never allows you to say, he says, okay, you're a bold candidate or an LBW candidate, whatever it is. He's constantly at you. He's not bowling these wide Yorkers saying, okay, hit me to, extra cover for a single. He's telling you, I'm here. You want to whack me over? Take that chance. I could get you LB, I could get you bowled. That's attacking bowling.
Yep. Yeah, Rashid Khan's a great example, really, because he says, one second, as a batsman, what's your job? You've got to protect those 3 stumps. As a bowler, what's my job? I've got to shatter those 3 stumps. I'm going to keep it very basic and very simple, which is why he's just a master at what he does. I got to say, though, the 2 games that we've had today, I wish we had them in reverse order. Because the first game, that chase, it was a lullaby. Right? This game, this chase is like, an adrenaline shot straight to your veins, right? Or a caffeine shot straight to your face. And now
it's a rock concert.
I'm just feeling like bright awake now. If the second chase had happened first, right? And the first chase that happened now, we would have probably just been calmer and just putting people to bed and just saying, all right, let's just talk about a little bit of cricket, and then we'll put you to bed. But now everyone's just wired. It's great. You can't even party because everything is shut. You're all locked down. Stay at home. You're not going anywhere. Well, I'll tell you who is not going anywhere is Kolkata, because now the points table is not looking like a good place for them. They've lost again to one of the big teams. What do you call the big teams? They've got 1 win out of 4. Punjab has also got 1 win out of 4. Kolkata has really saved it. Today, Kolkata could have been bottom of the table, right? Look at the net run rate down at the bottom now. Punjab's got it worse because Punjab's played, I think, 2 dismal games with really low scores batting first. So, therefore, they are there. But the Knight Riders today, another 20, 30, I don't know what the calculation is, but another 20, 30 runs perhaps in terms of a deficit. And they could have been right at the bottom. So this is not very far from them. They are looking at this and saying, what has happened to our campaign? This is 4 out of 14 games. This is now not the beginning of the tournament anymore. Joy.
Yeah, look, yes, true. But I think they'll take some amount of heart from the second part of that innings and say that, we almost made the impossible possible. If they had, been shot out for 100, there would have been devastation in the camp. As in, they would have gone back and said, we are just not good enough to play this game. Now they're turning around and said, you know what? A game where we were 31 for 5, we took it down to the last over where guys were still getting scared. I mean, MS Dhoni is still wondering about fielding positions and saying, if we can get this far in a lost game, you know what? We win 3 games and we are close.
I mean, yeah, see, you've got, again, this is amazing because I like the fact that both of you have a completely different, polar opposite point of view about this, right? I mean, Joy is saying, yes, it was a great recovery. Pommie saying maybe this recovery is even more heartbreaking because you're just like, I was so close. It's probably sometimes easier to sleep at night where you go, we had a rubbish day. We were just never in the game. You're probably thinking that Punjab has slept a little easier today than the Knight Riders will, Pommie.
Yeah. So let me clear up that in my opening gambit, I was talking about the fans. If you're the fans and you're watching this,
okay.
you're
Fair
being
enough.
taken for this big ride and you're thinking, oh, we're going to get there, and then you don't get there. So that's horrible. And if you lose by 80, you can handle it. You're out of the game. You always were. In terms of what it does for the rest of the tournament, I tend to be a little bit, because they're a struggling side, the Kolkata Knight Riders, things haven't gone according to plan. I tend to think they will take some heart out of it because all of a sudden they're saying, the guys who are the 5 who get out for 31, they're saying, well, actually, we have no reason to be despondent. We have no reason to think, oh, the way I play, I must protect what goes behind me. Not that they were thinking that anyway, but maybe it was lodged in the back of their minds. I think this kind of frees them up to say, well, actually, if we're going to go down, at the very least, let's go down having done this, because this is what we can play like this. Yeah. So I go out there, suss conditions, see what they're like. And if the day is, hey, this is a good pitch and I can go, then I go. And it doesn't matter how many are out, I must still go. Because if I don't go, we're going to end up on the losing side. We're going to end up with not enough runs. And I think the modern player, the contemporary player now of 2020 cricket, the batsman, somehow is able to clear out all that stuff that says, oh, rebuild, or, you've got to make sure that you consolidate your position for who's coming behind you. No. The consolidation of the position is it there? Can I whack it? I whack it. They're still all cricket shots, but there's an ultra aggression that goes on that says, I've got to make sure I'm putting as much pressure back on this team so that they're not taking the initiative from us. They're getting wickets, fine, but they need something to think about as well. And Russell, when he came in, wasn't hitting for the sake of hitting.
Yeah.
Dinesh Karthik, they weren't hitting for the sake of hitting. Yes, in the back of the minds, you might think they might say, oh, it's a lost cause, or no. They're saying we have to hit from here on to make sure we win the game. They're trying to win the game from there. And that's the mindset. And they've got to keep it, whichever team they play against.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'll tell you where they came back into the game. So obviously, when it comes to the first 6 overs, a complete shambles, right? With the power play, they've got the runs, but they've lost 5 wickets, half their sides back in the hut. They change it around in the 7 to 10 spell, right? They've almost got double of what Chennai got. Chennai went slow at that point in time. That's where Knight Riders pick up steam. That's when Karthik and Russell are batting. Russell is going absolutely crazy. 11 to 15, you can say, is perhaps neck and neck. And then towards the end, and there you go. That's the 20-run difference right there, right? Is the 20-run difference that you have right towards the end. And they haven't lost those many wickets towards the end, but they didn't have that many to lose. Mm-hmm. They would have probably lost 1 or 2 more if they had them, but they didn't. They finished. The wickets were done. But this is what Dhoni has said after the match. He says, this is only Dhoni can do that. I'm checking it out on the Cricbuzz app so you guys can have a listen or a read as well. He says, quite easy in a game like this. From the 16th over onwards, the contest was between the fast bowler and the batsman. You can't do much. He says, can't put a different field. It's about you versus me. And the side that has won is a side that has executed slightly better. But if they would have had more wickets, could have been different. I've seen enough in cricket. Always like to be humble. There's a good reason. Yada, yada. My lines to the players was just good runs on the board. But let's be humble. You don't want to take too many early wickets. Big hitters coming in 200. There's only one way we will play. Yada, yada. The only option was Jadeja. It was turning. It was a bit dry. The batting has been really good. Rituraj is someone who has shown his class in the IPL. But he's got 4 50s in the previous season. And he got a good one today. 4th one today, I think, is what he has got in the tournament. Very impressive there again. But Dhoni is saying what you said, Joy. It was a shootout. He's saying, I can't do much, right? If you're the sheriff and you've got two gangs of cowboys, you just stand by and say, I'll just arrest whoever's alive at the end of it.
No, and the other thing is that I think Dhoni is also telling us that Jadeja was his only bowling option, his only spin bowling option. I think he thinks he needs another spin bowling option.
But it's just a question, Joy, just to add to that. He's got Moin, who did so well in the previous game, right?
Yeah, I think he was just scared because by the time Moin comes, they're all right-handers left.
Yeah.
So there's Russell left, there's Dinesh Karthik left, there's Cummins left. So he's just scared that Moin is even bowling even further into their arc. So if he has to use Moin, he's going to use him early.
Injure himself because he went off the field. He wasn't on the field.
I think when he was going, when he was going for that catch when he went into the chair and
the super stopper or whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't come back on. So I think that was the issue. I think he might have tried. He might have kind of had to as he looked around and thought, maybe I try my off spinner. But with the way Cummins was hitting it, it would have been going with the change of the pace rather than anything else because it'd be bowling into that arc as well. So, tough.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was at Russell 6 because he was at the boundary that time. I think it was the cover boundary, and there seemed to be a storeroom just next to the boundary, right? I mean, there was a super sopper, there was a chair, there's the fence, there's a guy standing there. It's like, dude, this is the middle of the road. There's traffic. Russell and Karthik are batting. There's traffic coming. You're standing in the middle of the road, dude. Come on, just move your stuff back, right? And if Moin has got injured because of that, I mean, I make a joke of it, but that would be really tragic if he's got hurt or strained because there's a chair lying, 4 feet away from the boundary line in today's game when people are constantly flirting with that boundary rope. I think that would just be tragic. We'll find out. We'll set the sleuths on it. Holmes. Carry on, Holmes. Just look it up, will you? But yeah, it's I think Deepak Chahar again. Hats off to Deepak Chahar. 4 wickets now. Picked up 4 wickets once before as well, and he's gone wicketless in 2 overs. So he's kind of doing it very interesting in 2 matches. Doing very interestingly in every alternate game. But hey, if you are a quick bowler with these kind of pitches, with this kind of power play happening, and you can get 4 wickets in every alternate game, he'll take it. He'll absolutely take it.
Every day of the week.
Every day of the week. For Kolkata, the Demons of Wankhede, well, they're still intact. They've just won the 1 game now for the 10 times that they've played. And Kolkata also against teams like Chennai. We got the stat here, right? I mean, it's what Kolkata is doing against, this is what, you look at Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, Bangalore. So looking at the last 2 years, right? I don't know if I'm okay calling these the big four, but I mean, these are the guys who have done. I mean, how do you call it a big four in a league of big eight? I know that the entire team of Wilson, Holmes, and all the producers are going, what are you talking about? But wait, we'll talk about that later, right? We'll talk about that later. But Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, and Bangalore, their win percentages are dismal. And you can't forget if it's the big four or the small four. Against four of the teams in an 8-team league, if you've got these kind of numbers, then where are you qualifying? Pommie, Joy, whoever?
Yeah, you're struggling. I think you're struggling. I mean, what you want to do, and I suppose it is understandable against the two top teams. If you look at, against Mumbai, 5-time champions, and against Chennai, these guys make the finals all the time, and they beat just about everybody. Fair enough. It means all the other teams are losing to them as well, because it doesn't matter whose numbers you put up against those two teams, you're going to find that actually nobody really beats them. It's when you go further down, that's when it's a bit of an issue, because you're then saying, well, what you're saying is, you're stuck in the middle somewhere. You're not beating Delhi too often. You're not beating Bangalore too often. And how do they stack up in terms of how the tournament goes and how the competition goes generally? They don't win either. They don't end up winning the tournament, those two teams. So how can you be, if you're a contender, how can you have a record that says you're losing more times than not to those guys? That creates a problem. And I think those are the two we have to scrutinize, rather than the ones about. It would be nice if you could beat the other two and you had better records against them, but it would mean we wouldn't be having this conversation.
That is true. Are you thinking that with every conversation you have with me? Sometimes you say that once in every conversation you have with me, that we should not be having this conversation. Taking this very personally.
You say that, not me.
Joy, mental blocks, are they a thing? Personnel change, generations change of a team. The other day, was it Simon or Michael on the show who said that, a 10-year-old, data point doesn't matter because the team's completely changed. It's new guys. They have absolutely no context, no history, no pain of the past, no trauma. But sometimes, can it become a mental block for a team?
Look, this is actually a mental block. It is a genuine mental block, because the record that they're showing, the stats they're showing, is from 2018. Yep. 2018 was the year of the last big auction.
Fresh wounds.
This team is that team from 2018. They've had a couple of additions. They've had Cummins come in. They've had Owen Morgan coming. But Dinesh Karthik, Andre Russell, this is the team they put together. Shubman Gill, Nagarkoti, Mavi. This is the core of the team they put together. And this core is obviously not good enough. It's not delivering from them. I think, hats off to KKR. They've invested a lot in their fast bowlers. Mavi, Nagarkoti, and none of these guys. It's very interesting. The guys that they put maximum faith in, that means bought off the auction from the Under-19 World Cup, were Mavi, Nagarkoti, and Shubman Gill. And frankly, for all their records, and Shubman Gill is a batsman I have a lot of time for, all of them have flattered to deceive. Their shot selection has not been great. Their selection in terms of what ball to decide when is not been great. In fact, the guys who are not from that auction, Prasidh Krishna and Nitish Rana, has actually given them more. Of their young brigade, their non-under-19 guys have actually given them more. But they need more consistency. Today, I mean, some of the things, we spoke about Nagarkoti not getting the ball at the right time. Fair enough. But now you've come in. Pat Cummins is hitting it beautifully. You're an under-19 India cricketer. You're not a kid. Okay, you're playing in the big boys league. What are you trying to do? Try and hit a six of the first ball. You just need to give the man strike.
Yeah.
He ran out of partners finally. That's what happened, right?
Yep. He was not out.
That's bad cricket. That's stupid cricket.
I think that's a bit harsh. I'll tell you why I think it's a bit harsh. Because you've got to examine his powers in terms of batting, whether you call it in the nets, or if he totally can't bat, right? If he can't bat, then he doesn't attempt it, right? But if he has some ability in terms of being able to hit the ball out the ground, then he might do it. And you've then also got to examine, look, they stand there together and they have a chat. And if he's in at 10 and Pat says, do you know what? If you recognize one, you also got to put it out the ground. He might well look to do it. And he'll say, there's another wicket coming. We can't afford for you to just block it. You know, that could be a conversation they do have. And I know it always seems so much simpler and easier. Like we sit out here and we go, yeah, he gets one. You know, that guy hits it out the ground. But he gets that over the guy and it goes for 4. Gets it to the side of the guy and it goes for 4. Then we're sitting talking about a different story because so the guys will back themselves. And this, I should actually go to Pat Cummins, who will say, all right, Pat Cummins can bat. But what do we mean when we say he can bat? Do we mean that he can hit a 50 off, you know, like in no time and get them that close? I don't think that's what we mean. However, we underestimate the work that these guys who are batting 9, 10, 11 now put into being able to hit boundaries. And that's the game. So many of them can do it. And I'm trying to think of an example. I'm trying to think of somebody who comes in at the back end and can whack it. Maybe as a bad example, Shardul Thakur goes into a test match and bats, and you think, goodness, how is he getting 80, right? But not because he can't bat, but because he's batting at number 8 and at number 9 is in the side to bowl. So there needs to be that tempering and understanding, not for choices and decisions with regard to how the game should be played. And I agree with you on that, Joy, 100%. But I think we also don't know their powers. We don't know what they can and can't do. Do you know what I'm saying? We're just taking him for number 10 and that's it. And we think, well, number 10, you can't bat, so you shouldn't be doing that. But it might not be.
Yeah, but I guess he's also, Joy also means that on the other side, when you have Pat Cummins who's in that kind of form, perhaps, is the best option than just try to get Pat Cummins. Traditional wisdom is just to get the guy who's in form just quickly on this side. But I do get your point, and I do appreciate how strongly and how vocal Pommie has been for the lower order batters.
No, don't turn this into that.
Also, I just to
what am I thinking of? You know what I'm thinking of, right?
Yeah, Bongo,
exactly.
Bongo.
Bongo, right? Bongo. If you guys don't know who Bongo is the guy the peanut guy at Port of Spain who said Mbangwa. You want to say it?
You say it. You started.
You can't bat. You can't bat.
He was right. I'll give him his dues. He was right.
More about that on our chat on my podcast. But sorry, that is, people have a listen. But sorry, Joy, you wanted to add to that. Joy, by the way, is the only one who's appeared twice on the podcast. So here comes the hot stepper.
Okay, so I only want to back up this thing with stats. In 11 T20 matches before this, his highest is 20. He scored 22 runs with the highest of 8 and an average of 5.5. He shouldn't be hitting that ball.
How many sixes has he hit?
On 22, you don't get too many sixes.
I'm just asking, has he hit one at all, or was he being completely delusional today? He has.
Yeah.
Because even if he's hit one, the boy's allowed to dream that he can do it again.
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you, Joy. And don't take it like I'm sort of against what you said. Not at all. I throw in something else. Run rate is 18 and over. Do you know what I mean? If you feel you can hit a 4, you're helping the team.
Yeah,
and
of course.
It doesn't make any sense to say, oh, we need 18 and over, so I'm going to give you one. You know, when there's one in my slot that I can hit for 4 or 6. That, that's the bad cricket the other way, if you know what I mean.
No, absolutely. And I also understand these are young kids. They want to help their guys get across the line. You know, they've got a ball. It seems to be in their slot. They're going to give it a whack. And that's the thing, when inexperience like that costs you something, it's also heartbreaking for the team, because the team would be looking at it and say, God, there's Pat Cummins at the other end. Just give him the strike, God. The impetuousness of youth, sometimes it costs you. And, they're looking at it and saying, this is a game, despite all that happened in those first 5 overs, we had our chances. They had their chances.
Yeah. You know what's happening is that it's been such a long day that two of the nicest, politest people in the world, I think they're gonna have a fight.
Nah, not Joy and myself. Not ever.
Fight. No, I tried. Hey, anything for the ratings. Just anything for the ratings.
Oh God.
Yeah, I do. I did come from general entertainment, but I'm not. I'm
not going to say you're one of them too.
I'm one of them. All right. Well, let's have a look at the game that's happening tomorrow. It's also happening in Mumbai. It is one side that is feeling a lot more confident than the other. It's Bangalore playing Rajasthan. That is match number 16. What do you know, man? Out of 56, we're already up to match number 16. Well done. There's Bangalore, who has had a phenomenal start to the tournament. I'm telling you, man, everything is upside down in today's world, right? It's all twilight. Nice guys are fighting. Bangalore's got off to a great start. I don't know what's going on anymore. The whole world's upside down. And guess what? Freakily, a bat has done it, right? It's got the whole world upside down. This is what's happening to Bangalore. They won the first game. They beat Mumbai, defending champions, right? Then they beat Hyderabad. That was quite a heist. Then they beat Kolkata. And now they are playing Rajasthan. So 3 out of 3. What a start for them. This is their first game in Mumbai, which perhaps means, Joy, that they're going to like this even more. Ball coming on the bat. There's some prolific hitting power in that lineup. But they're going to say, thank you very much. We'll have some of this.
Yeah, and also I'll tell you, when teams look at the schedule, they're going to turn around and say, Rajasthan is an inconsistent team. You don't know which Rajasthan turns up which day of the week because, their Indian batting is not that strong. So one day they'll be blast everyone out of the ground. The other day they'll collapse. They say, if we can sneak in one more victory and get in at 4-0 before we play Chennai and the big boys, we get in one more victory. 4-0 begins to look pretty threatening out there. And then they say, we can make a proper run for 1 or 2. And I think that's what they're going to look at and say that, guys, just get us across the line one more time. This is a team that, bats well sometimes, but they're not always the most consistent of teams. And that's Rajasthan's bane.
I mean, the thing is that, Pommie, if you win 4 out of 4, it effectively means you just need to win 4 out of the next 10 to qualify. I mean, you're sitting very pretty if you can do 4 out of 4.
Guys, I say this every year. It's not how you start. It's how you finish. All right, and this is not me taking anything away from Bangalore. Fantastic, they've been fantastic. Great for them to start this well. The issue is keeping up their tempo, and therefore other guys coming to the party and performing. You want a scenario where it's not one guy all the way through or 2 guys all the way through, because as soon as that happens, in the game where he doesn't get it, in the game where the couple of guys who you've been relying on they don't get runs, they don't get wickets, suddenly it all falls down. And what it does to the rest of the team and to the guy himself probably is, oh dear, if I don't get runs, it's a problem. Suddenly the pressure is ramped up on, you need to be the one getting us over the line all the time. I can give an example, actually.
Yeah.
Think about the Punjab side last year.
Yep.
Think about them, right? Think about the Sunrisers side, not just last year, with the Bairstow and Warner partnership. Similar sorts of sides.
I could add Bangalore themselves when they won 7 out of 10 and then they lost 5 on the trot. It was 2 seasons ago.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you
last year, sorry, yeah.
Don't want a case where there's one guy winning games, particularly when it's early on. When it's early on, yes, of course, you can't be advocating for any sides to be wanting to lose games. You want to win games. But hopefully you can have other guys contributing. And if you start while you can keep going and, stutter your way through somewhere and then pick up that form again towards the back end. But yeah, they're a good side. And I think they've always been a good side. They've always been this side that can blow you away, Bangalore. They can. They just can. But they're also spectacularly crumbled, haven't they? Many a time.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah, so you fantastic the way they start. That man De Villiers is playing unbelievably. It's a woof. I tell you what, you can't believe that he can still play like that. Don't touch a bat for I don't know how long. Turn up, whack it everywhere. I mean, goodness, it's unbelievable. And then the rest of the talent, I haven't even mentioned Virat. I mean, goodness, he gets going. Then what? Maxwell smashing it. It's just lovely side. Yes.
Are they playing with three? Are they playing with three foreigners again? You got to be very confident with your Indian talent if you're playing with three foreigners. Mumbai did it. Mumbai champion side won it 5 times in a row, Joy. But Bangalore does it, which means they have invested in their Indian core in the squad, and they're investing in them in the team, giving them slots.
It is something they're doing, and they're doing a very good job of it. But I really think that they're going to do a little bit of retooling, because now they're going to be playing in Mumbai, right?
Yeah, different.
And the way you play in Mumbai. So I think, say, for example, somebody like a Shahbaz Ahmed, who's ideally suited for a surface which is slow and, he can really turn the ball. Do they now take him out, and do they put in somebody like a Navdeep Saini?
Yep.
Do they put in a proper fast bowler out there? The other thing I'm looking at is Zampa. If Zampa is fit, I still believe in whatever pitch you play him, even in Mumbai, he's a match-winning bowler. He's a kind of bowler who can give you wickets. And we were talking about it again, all of us were talking about it, that right now it's a kind of age where it's not so much about economy rate, but about guys who can get wickets. Zampa is a wicket taker. So those are the changes that, you can look at and say that, there's something there. And but this Bangalore side is a great side. It's a very good side this year.
Yeah, on the other side, if you have Rajasthan and Pommie, it looks like their team has an extradition treaty with the UK because the players just keep going back, right? For different reasons.
Oh, man. You're so harsh.
I'm just saying, it's like Jofra Archer injury. Right?
Yeah.
Ben
Stokes injury.
Liam Livingston. I understand. Liam Livingston, said that it was bubble fatigue, and it's a thing. And we, obviously we've never heard it before because this has just not happened. But this is the modern game. This is real. This kind of mental pressure of just being in this, in that, and you're not even getting a game, right? I mean, Liam Livingston would have probably gone through the entire tournament without getting a game. It's hard enough doing it with, in this bar. It's hard enough not playing a game when days are normal, right? When you're in this bubble and you have literally no release and no escape, you can't even go down the center, there's no applause, there's no hitting. You understand, right? You gotta.
Yeah, look, I get it. I think that there'll be people who are better at handling it than others. I don't think you can judge, because I think it's a very personal thing. I think you'll get guys who will try, and the fact that the guy turned up, he turned up and hung about, and then, sorry, got to pull the plug, I got to go. That's just what happens. It happens to players. It happens to guys who are not players. It happens to guys who do our job. I'm pretty sure, some guys will look, I'm not available, can't do it, can't come, and we don't have to give reasons. They don't have to be out there. But the reason could be exactly that you just can't handle another period within a bubble and having to sort of go through day to day, seeing 4 walls and then back, onto a field and back again and 4 walls again. So, yeah, such is the way the world is at present. We hope that it gets better. Their side, though, I think they have capable replacements. The issue then becomes, can their capable replacements get some sort of consistency over the next sort of 10 games or whatever it is? That's the question. I mean, Sanju, what a player. Oh, man, every year I do the same thing. Please, man, get 5 scores, 6 scores for us. That they need something like that from him. Maybe as captain he will this time around. And the problem has been, 2-3 scores early and then nothing all the way in. That's been the problem with him. But maybe as captain it'll be different. Maybe others will stand up. Miller looks like he's in good touch. Hopefully he can do it for them. Morris, bought for lots of money. Can he do it for them? On a good day he can. He provides a whole lot. Actually, bat, ball, can catch, can do a whole lot.
Yeah.
But they need some consistency, as Joy says, And if they can put together some sort of run, even if they do 2 runs, somewhere only 1, 2 games, 3 games in a row, and then a little blip, and then 2, 3 games in a row again, and hopefully we'll see.
You want to have them challenge you, because you don't want that kind of tournament where people just kind of lag behind and they're gone and they're out of contention. So if tomorrow Joy Rajasthan can beat a team like Bangalore, which seems to be on a roll, it's not just good for them, it's good for the tournament. It's, cat among the pigeons kind of stuff again. But do you see any changes happening in their team? And also they only have 5 foreigners left now.
Yeah, 5 international players, and Andrew Tai is the only guy who they really have on the bench. And Andrew Tai really, Mustafizur is bowling well. Chris Morris is bowling well. I can't really see him coming out. That's the only problem they have. They would look at it and wish they had that one other international batsman who they could rely on, and maybe, drop a bowler and bring in a batsman. But right now, they have to play with what they have. Sometimes it actually works out for guys because, they feel, okay, this is it. I've got to do it. There's nobody else behind me. This is the unit to do it. The only thing that I say again is 107 of 95 balls is what their 3 batsmen other than Sanju Samson have got. Their 3 Indian batsmen, the top 7 other than Sanju Samson, have got 107 of 92 balls.
Riyan Parag, Shivam Dube, who's the third?
Riyan Parag, Shivam Dube and Manan Vora.
All right. Yeah.
If these guys come to the party, this could be a different tournament altogether, because Josh Butler is the kind of batsman, he's an international quality batsman. He will come good. He may not come good in one match or the other. He's going to win you 2 or 3 games.
Yep.
Sanju Samson will win you a couple of games at the bat, perhaps. And that's why I'm saying, if these guys come to the party, this is a very dangerous side. If they don't, because I think their bowling is coming together nicely. Sakaria and Jaydev Unadkat bowl a lot together. They're a good partnership. Chris Morris comes and he's looking much better because, Chris Morris has this on year, off year, and this is definitely an on year. He's bowling well. They've got something there. I still don't understand what happened to Kartik Tyagi. Kartik Tyagi and Ravi Bishnoi, the 2 players, I don't understand what happened from last year. Prospects last year both just disappeared.
Yeah, there's no Ravi Bishnoi so far in Punjab. He hasn't shown up. And there's no Kartik Tyagi with Rajasthan. So, it's a good question, really. But I don't think it's as good a question as the Joy Factor question, because those are always the best questions. Let's have a look at the one that we have today. Fine print.
Okay. So the first player on this list is a national spin bowling coach, the second a Pakistani fast bowler who made his international debut in 2009. And the third is from Singapore. Which Indian is the fourth? And Pommie came close. He got the spin bowling coach. It was Jeetan Patel. So these are all bowlers who have got 20th over maidens in T20 international cricket. And of course, the last one was right in front of you. I think, Gaurav, you were there in the ground when Navdeep Saini got his maiden in the 20th over against the West Indies.
Was I on the ground? Was I in the 11 that day? What?
You forgot the game you played in.
I was fielding at long on, I think, when he was doing this. I was the one shining the ball.
You couldn't have been shining the ball because he got a maiden.
Yeah.
Not from long on.
Yeah. No, I would run. I ran up. No. I ran up. You could still use spit at the time. Remember those days?
You saved one from long on. Wow.
Even Jonty could never say that through his career.
That was very quick. Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon,
very
for sure.
Quick. Very quick. All right. Who was the quickest, though, to answer? Did anyone get it right? I want to tell you, Pommie, that 2 days ago, nobody got it right. There was one such question as well. It's got to be a Kapur, man. Keep the flag flying high, brother. Aditya Kapur, well done. Congratulations. We may spell it differently, but we're the same village. Same village, bro. Respect. Hanging it down deep for the Kapurs. Well done.
Is that a tomato, potato?
It is a tomato.
It's one of those. Okay.
OOR. In Hindi, it's spelled the same anyway. And in Punjabi, I don't know how to spell in Punjabi, so I don't know why I said that. But basically, it's the same. Phonetically, it's the same. Yes. Oh, that's it then. That's business. Yeah, that's business hours. Just shut down now. It's been a long day. 2 games midday. Yeah, it's been a long game. 1 game tomorrow. So we're going to see you at 6:50 p.m. That's going to be in Hindi as well as in English. You're wondering why I'm plugging the Hindi show because I'm on that one tomorrow. So,
so what are you?
Pommie,
trying
are
to
you?
do?
Pommie,
What are you try-
are you
what
are you on that
trying to
show?
do? What
Are
you
you on
trying
that
to-
show with me? Are you on the Hindi show with me, Pommie?
Do you want us to do Hindi? We'll do Hindi tomorrow. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so you can do the English show tomorrow. So Pommie and Sean are here. So South Africa is one is in South Africa. One has just come from South Africa, and Gautam Bhimani, we don't know where he's from. We're still trying to figure it out. Right. He's from somewhere in this universe. Which planet we're not very sure, but investigations are on. We'll let you know as soon as we have details. Big thank you to Joy Bhattacharjya and Pommie Mbangwa. Thank you so much, gentlemen. It's been a long day. It's been a very up and down kind of cricket day. There's been a lot of emotions, and I'm so happy that I had the two of you to share those with me and to keep me calm through most of it. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Calm se.
Oh! Damn it! Drop the mic! And this one! Just drop it. Those were water bottles, and my carpet is wet now, but it was worth it. Commitment to the row. Commitment to the row. Before we go, Cricbuzz Plus, sign up, subscribe. You must. All the premium content is there. For free, you're getting all of this. You're getting me, right? This is absolute garbage, but the good stuff is on Cricbuzz Plus. So you must go there, right? That's where all these good gentlemen, Mr. Harsha Bogle, they're all there. The clowns are here. I'm going to go now because it is way past my medication time. So I must be calmed down, tied into my straitjacket, and put to bed. Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you, Pommie. Sleep well, both of you. Sleep well, all of you. Big thank you to our crew who are working hard in these COVID times from the control room. So big shout out to you guys. Be safe. Be extra safe, all of you. And we're going to see you tomorrow. This was Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. Good night.